Hello everyone. So my purpose for this video is to discuss what happened today to the market, and after that, I'm going to make predictions on what I think is going to happen tomorrow and the day after. Since today is the last day of the week, I'm going to make predictions on what's going to happen on next Monday, and first, I'm going to discuss what I think happened today. So, in order to figure out what happened today, this is the SPY, by the way. This is the SPY, and it's the S&P 500 ETF that tracks that. And so, first, in order to figure out what happened today, you have to figure out what happened yesterday. And yesterday was a big green candle. So, what exactly is this big green candle? Well, I am going. A lot of people are on the news. They're saying this big green candle is optimistic. The market's going to go up. It's going to keep going up like that. And then that's, of course, we know that's not what happened today. Today the market went just crashed all the way down to here. So, what happened yesterday that led to what happened today? So here's what my what my notes are on what happened yesterday. I look at this daily this move right here. So I looked at the volume of the stocks that made that makes up the S&P 500, and I look at the volume of all those stocks that on the day on yesterday, and what I discovered was that the volume on all these stocks yesterday was pretty low. And if it's low and the market went up, that means that there are low sellers. Because the market went up, that means that the buyers beat the sellers at market price. And so, but if the volume is low on that day, then that means that the sellers were extraordinarily weak, and the normal level of buyers just overwhelmed the sellers, and that's what happened. That's why the market went up. So, first of all, let me show you what happened on a lot of stocks. Um, first let's look at Apple. Yesterday, look at how low this volume was. This is pretty mediocre volume. That means that the sellers were low and the buyers were normal, because the imbalance means how low the opposite, the reverse traders were compared to the traders that won. The traders that won is the volume of this candle, this volume, and the traders that lost is less than this volume at market price. So since it went up, that means that the traders that won is this much, and the traders that lost, which are the sellers, is around here at market price. So the buyers at market price ate the sellers at the market price, and they beat them, and the buyers ate the seller queue, and that's why this candle went up. That's as best as I can explain it. So look at Apple. It went up, but the volume is so low. Like normally, look at this volume right here. Look at the volume right here. Look at how it rallied when it went up like this on this day, and on this day, and on this day. Look at the volume. Look at how strong the volume is. The reason the volume was strong was because the sellers were normal level, and the buyers were extreme, and the buyers beat the normal level sellers, and that's why it went up. This rally went up, and it sustained itself because the sellers didn't hold back. They did what they normally did, and the buyers just pushed the sellers, just overwhelmed the sellers, and that's what this upward move sustained itself for a long time. But what happened here? The volume was so low. That means the buyers were normal and the sellers were extremely weak. So what happens when the seller is extremely weak on one day? That means the next day, the sellers are all going to come back in. And that's why we saw this big red candle. And let me look at other stocks. Let's look at Facebook. Let's look at Amazon first. Same thing here. When the rally like this happens, you would expect that the volume would be high, because then that means that the buyers are taking control. They're overwhelming the normal level of sellers. But that's not what happened on this day. The volume was low, and that means that the sellers were just weak. And that means the sellers were holding, and that's why today the sellers came back into the market, and then they pushed this thing down. Same here. Look at Facebook. Oh, well, Facebook's different. Well, see, low volume, upward move. And then what happened today? Same thing. Let's look at Google. Low volume, upward move, and then fall today. Yesterday was low volume, upward move. Let's look at Microsoft. Same thing. Low volume. Look at how low that volume is. Upward move. And let's look at Tesla. Low volume. So what is this low volume? Why was there low volume? And the reason behind that is that I am going to call it, when a stock goes up and it's low volume, especially after it fell down a lot and then it goes up but there's low volume, I have a term I call that. I have a term for that. It's called a creepy move. And a creepy move is basically where it looks like everything is happy again, and sellers who endured, people who bought right here, who endured all this mess. Let me go back to SPY. So basically what happens what I thought happened was the sellers held. And the reason they held is because they endured this entire mess. All the whole buy and holders who long here and long here and long here, they long here and they got stopped. But when it got down to here, they're praying that it will go back up again. And it looks like it's going back up again, because yesterday, it started doing this, and then it started doing this, and then it started doing this. So when they saw that, they thought, oh my God, the whole market's going to go back up to 460 again. So that's why there's so many people held onto their shares. And the seller, that's why the sellers were weak. Why did they hold? Because let's imagine that you were a buyer, and you bought right here, then you got stopped right here, then you bought right here, then you got stopped right here, then you bought right here, and you got stopped right here. So you endured all this pain and suffering, and you're hoping you can make back all that loss. So what happens is, when it got to here and started moving up, everyone suddenly They suddenly had their hopes up again, and they thought that the market was going to rally back up to normal, and they would make back up that loss. And so that's why there were low sellers. So the reason why it went up yesterday was because of swing level traders. Let's discuss first of all what a swing level trader is. A day trader is someone who holds a position for about 30 minutes or maybe an hour. A swing level trader holds for a couple of days. And an investor holds for like months or years. So what happened yesterday is that at this point right here, swing level traders thought that they were having their prayers answered, because they bought right here, they got stopped. 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 So finally, they thought that their prayers were going to be answered. Imagine if you were a swing level trader and all this mess happened to you on all these days. So when this thing happened, the deepest desires of these swing level traders suddenly looked like it was coming true. That they were going to make their money back. They're hoping this will go back to the top again. So that's why they held on to their shares and they didn't sell. That's why the sellers didn't sell. So what happens usually in creepy moves is that they slowly go back up at low volume and then they just go back down, like to what happened today. Like usually in creepy moves, they kind of just keep going up in low volume because the sellers are just holding, and then the sellers come back in force when it looks like it's just breaking. In reality, it returns and then they all sell and then it goes back down. And the reason it goes back down is because the buyers don't really come back in, and the sellers eventually start selling again, and whatever happened that led to this move downward like this reasserts itself, and then it just keeps going down like this. So whatever the fundamentals are that created this move like this, it reasserts itself right here, and then makes the stock market keep going back down like this. And you can tell that sellers hold yesterday by looking at the intraday chart of yesterday. This is the intraday chart of yesterday. The conclusion that the sellers were holding is confirmed by the fact that the market did not drop after a failed breakout. See, this is a failed breakout. It tried to go up, it almost broke out, but then it went back down, but it did not drop much after that. That's because the sellers were holding. Same thing here. They try to break out, and then it failed to break out, and then it didn't drop much after that. That means sellers are holding when they're supposed to sell. This is when the sellers are supposed to sell, and this is when the sellers are supposed to sell, and they didn't sell because they're just holding. But you can also argue that there's too much buying pressure, and that's why it didn't fall much. You can say that, yeah, you could say that there was too much buying pressure, and that's why this didn't go down much. But the thing is, if there was a lot of buying pressure, then the volume on the daily would have been very, very high, and it wasn't. And secondly, there wouldn't have been a failed breakout at all. Like if it tried to break out right here, and there was a lot of buying pressure, a lot of buyers, it would have just continued shooting up. Same thing right here. If there was a lot of buyers, it would just continue shooting up, or it would have shot up right here, or shot up right here, or shot up right here. But that's not what happened. It failed to break out, and then it went back down. So that means that there wasn't a lot of buying pressure, but it does mean that there wasn't a lot of selling pressure. Because if there was a lot of sellers coming in, they would have sold it right here. So that's why sellers were holding. It's not because there was a lot of buyers trying to push it up. So my conclusion is that you should not trust this move, and this is what I would have said yesterday, and that's what happened today. That's explained what happened today. So where do I think the stock will go from now on? Well, the thing is that typically during creepy moves, the price returns to the original bottom that started the creepy move. So that's what happened. The price come here. But what happens on creepy moves is that the price continues in the original direction of the trend. Because whatever happened here that got all these stocks to come back down, the price continues in the direction of the trend. And secondly, the other reason I think it's going to go down even further on Monday and Tuesday, tomorrow, next week, is because there's a breakdown formation happening. See, a lot of these stocks, the big stocks that make up the S&P, they all look like they're about to break down. Let's look at Apple. It's Amazon. Apple looks like it's about to break down this crucial support level. Amazon also looks like it's about to break down this support level, almost. Facebook, same thing, it broke down this crucial support level. Google is about to break down this crucial support level. Microsoft, you get the idea. So basically, they're all trying to break down. They all look like they're either about to break down this crucial support level, or they have already done it. So what happens during breakdowns is that buyers tend to they hold, and the sellers who want to sell, they become very active. So let's imagine that you hold on to this stock. You have this stock in your possession, and then suddenly this breakdown formation occurs. What you're going to do as someone who has the stock is that you're going to sell, and the buyers who don't have this stock, they're going to hold and they won't buy. So what happens is that during breakdowns, sellers exhibit, they get very active, and the buyers inhibit. They hold on to their buys, they don't press the button, and they won't buy. So when it happens at breakdowns, is that it goes boop, like this, boop, on all stocks. Because all stocks look like they're about to break down, and because all stocks looks like they're going to break down, they probably will break down. And when it does break down, it's going to be boop, like that. It's going to go down a lot. And what happens is that, here's why I imagine it's going to happen. Because the breakdown formation occurs on all stocks. First of all, buyers are going to inhibit. They're not going to press the button. The sellers are going to become very active, and it will push the price below this breakdown support level. And then the sellers will become super active because they see the support level getting cracked, and especially after it already broke down below it, they become super active. And then there will be some moments where the buyers who tried to hold on to their stocks suddenly, who held on to they were about to buy. These buyers will somehow press a button, but it will not be enough buyers to overwhelm the massive amount of sellers that will push all the stocks down. And the third reason, so what I think is going to happen to the market on Monday and Tuesday is it's going to go boop, like this, all the way down to 4:30 on Monday. And another way to confirm this belief is look at how is this the third time that this market has tried to reach this breakdown level. When it hits the third time that the support level is about to be cracked, usually it does crack. I mean, if you hit it the second time, it may not crack the support level. Like, this is the first time. This is the first time, this is the second time, this is the third time, this is the fourth time. So usually when it hits the fourth time and then it tries to crack the support level, it does crack. So based on what we know about what happened yesterday, it was a creepy move, it was a fake rally, and then that's why it came down today. So according to that knowledge, the market should continue in the same trend that began right here. It will continue going down. And because all the stocks look like they're about to break down, they probably will break down and it will crash even harder. And thirdly, because this is the fourth or third time that all the stocks look like they're about to break down, they probably will break down. So what I expect for Monday and Tuesday will be a crash. That's what I expect on Monday and Tuesday next week. And you're going to crash for a while. So that's what I think is going to happen. And when I say traders, in terms of sellers and buyers, and what type of sellers and buyers do I mean? I mean all levels of traders, because this is a this is a breakdown on a daily level. So this, if you're a day trader, you will start selling, and if you're a investor, you will start selling, and if you are a swing trader, you will also start selling. And if you are a buyer of these three types, you will probably not buy. So when I say trader, I mean all types of traders: investors, day traders, invest swing traders. Like what I call swing traders. What I call medium traders, medium length traders. They hold for a couple of days, and investors hold for years or months. So I think every type of trader, when they see this thing happen on this breakdown on the daily level, and it's about to happen, they will all sell once it breaks down. They might even sell before it breaks down. So that's why I think the market is in trouble. So typically, what happens during creepy moves is that the sellers that hold on to that held during this rally, they come back, but the buyers is the reason it goes down is because the sellers come back and the buyers become weak. So that's why the volume isn't that high right here. Because if the buyers were strong, they would just stay right here. But the sellers were strong, the buyers were weak, and that's why the volume didn't go up that high, because the buyers were weak, and that's why it went down a lot. And you can see that on a lot of stocks. So I don't think that this low volume, relatively low volume, is a big deal in terms of whether or not it's gonna go up like that. I think it's pretty normal in terms of the fact that the trend is still gonna continue lower. Because that's what happens during creepy moves. The sellers retake control, and at some point, probably the volume will increase dramatically when it breaks this level.